Okay, let's move on, but I feel like it's one hard section after another. Um, Chapter 12, 38 to 45. Then some of the Pharisees and teachers of the law said to him, Teacher, we want to see a miraculous sign from you. He answered, A wicked and adulterous generation asks for a miraculous sign, but none will be given it except the sign of the prophet Jonah. For as Jonah was 3 days and 3 nights in the belly of a fish, so the Son of Man will be 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the earth. The men of Nineveh will stand up at the judgment with this generation and condemn it, for they repented at the preaching of Jonah, and now one greater than Jonah is here. The queen of the south will rise at the judgment with this generation and condemn it, for she came from the ends of the earth to listen to Solomon's wisdom, and now one greater than Solomon is here. When an evil spirit comes out of a man, it goes through arid places, seeking rest, and does not find it. Then it says, I will return to the house I left. When it arrives, it finds the house unoccupied, swept clean, and put in order. Then it goes and takes with it 7 other spirits more wicked than itself, and they go in and live there. And the final condition of that man is worse than the first. That is how it will be with this wicked generation. Okay, so let's begin. First of all, I noticed that it was the big spiritual giants, not the lowly, ordinary people. They went and asked for a miracle. Regular people asked for healing, and they asked humbly, but these guys just wanted Jesus to put on a show. And he immediately shut it down and said, evil people ask for miraculous signs. People who aren't concerned with honoring God or believing God, they just want to have proof or power. And you're not going to get what you're asking for or what you're demanding of me. All you will get is what you heard a long time ago, a sign from Jonah. And basically, he was in the fish for 3 days and 3 nights. You know this, you've studied it, you're so familiar with it, and that's all the sign you need. You don't need a miracle, because that's huge. Jonah was showing you that the same thing will happen to God's son. He'll be in darkness for 3 days and 3 nights. And then what he said is that in the end, the people of Nineveh, they will condemn you and judge you and think you're crazy. And all I remember is that these people were terrible and evil, but they will judge these people as worse than them. They saw the light from a nobody, from Jonah, who stank like a fish and was crazy selfish. The queen of the south, whoever that is, did the exact same thing. Apparently, she did everything she could to come and hear Solomon, and she gave her life and she repented. Both of these circumstances, Nineveh and the queen of south, both will condemn these people, these spiritual gurus, because these guys caught on from these simple humans, from regular people. But now these spiritual gurus, they have the real deal. They have Jesus, who is doing miracles and healing and restoring and forgiving. But instead of repenting and catching on, they actually have the audacity to come to Jesus and demand more and say they want a miracle, another miracle. It wasn't enough. And he says that it's absurd that these people changed on something much simpler, a simple man and a whale, and I don't know who the queen is, but she listened to Solomon. So they changed on something basic. But these guys, they have the best of the best, and it still isn't enough to change them. It isn't enough to convict them. They want more, more, more. And then he gives a imagery where he says an evil spirit goes through dry, dead places. It's trying to find a new home, but it can't. So what it does is it goes back to where it came from. It goes back to the home where it left. And it finds out that the old place is empty. No one moved in after it left, and it is clean as a whistle. It's not lived in, nothing. So the evil spirit sees so much wonderful empty space that he goes off and gets 7 of his friends, and they all come back and they move in together like student housing. And the man who is that home where the evil spirit left and came back with his friends, that man is worse off than the first time the evil spirit lived there just by himself. Because the evil spirit left. He had a chance. He had a clean slate. He had an empty home to fill with good things, new things, God things. But he didn't. He stayed susceptible to an evil spirit. And that is how it is for people now. You are getting a second chance. You are getting a clean slate, a fresh start. Do something with it. Don't leave it open for the devil to come back in and take over.